Hi, I'm Renee. I'm here to tell you about something really interesting. My mother, when I was young, she saved our lives. She got us from being in a fire. Right before the fire, she knew. I don't know how she knew, but she knew. I went through a lot when I was a child. 3 years old and seeing Martin Luther King, not Martin Luther King, and JFK and everything happened the way it did. I could have been a kid that checked out, but I didn't. I didn't. And you're going to hear about that today. You see, when I was a kid, even to this day, I didn't have racism. I didn't know what racism was. My parents and I grew up, in the 60s, and of course they had a hard time. But my father worked really hard, and he had his own business. And I had my mom, she bought me a little white doll and a little black doll. This is called Hello Dolly. Because I remember sitting on the floor and dancing to Louis Armstrong, twirling on my back, dancing to Louis Armstrong. And it was Hello Dolly, that was the song. So I didn't have I didn't have that kind of thing that people have today. I don't really know where it comes from, but I never had it, and I never will. I believe that you treat people the way they treat you. It doesn't matter what color they are. It doesn't matter from where they are, where they're from. That's all irrelevant. You treat people how they treat you. Now, in 1960, I was born. And by the time 63 came, I was living in a house and the number was 50 Belmont Avenue. And I just remember having lots of things happen in the house that were detrimental. There were outside forces coming in that were bothering me. I couldn't sleep at night. I really couldn't sleep. I had a dream of this airplane. I was in the plane, and the plane is trying to crash, and I wake up right before it crashes. I had that dream over and over and over again. Little did I know that God would be showing me some things that He wanted to show me. But I didn't know at the time. I was just scared and I really didn't know. The dream was really frightful. It really was. I'd dance on the floor on my back. My dad would be sitting in the living room and he'd be watching me. And I just remember, hello, Dolly. Say hello, Dolly. It's so nice to have you back where we belong. So I would dance and dance, and my father would just be cracking up. He would think it was so funny. It was funny. It was cute. And it was great. I just sat and danced to Louis Armstrong. For those that don't know who he is, you can look him up on YouTube. He's very famous. But I had a good time. I was feeling really good. And, I think that's just so interesting. That I danced to Louis Armstrong. There was another song that was famous of his, which is really odd because, it's like the Exodus movie. It was, he did this song called, it was called Tell the Pharaohs, you know, to let my people go. It was let my people go, let my people go. And it's odd that he did that song, Let My People Go, when I would have an experience, an Egyptian experience years later, not knowing that that would mean something in my life. But it did. It really did. Now, I had two dolls that I had sitting on top of the mantelpiece of the fireplace. One was black and one was white. I had an orange juice that I gave, which was of color, that I gave the white doll, and I had a milk bottle, which I gave the black doll. Switcheroo, right? I put them both on the mantelpiece and I said, "You two be friends now, okay?" I actually asked them both to be friends, and I gave them both an opposite color bottle. Now, where this kid could come up with this just wonderful idea, of how people should get along in life, it amazes me even to this day. But I did. And I loved my dollies. I just loved my dollies. I'm singing Hello Dolly. I've got two dolls. So I called my dolls Dollies. And I put them on top of the mantelpiece. And that's where they always were. Until one day, I'll tell you what happened with them. Now, Mom was always in the kitchen cooking. If you knew my mother, you knew she was in the kitchen and she was making something. So my mother was in the kitchen cooking. And I remember she was in there and I was watching television. And what came across the TV was that detrimental shooting of the person that killed the President of the United States. I'm watching this and I'm saying, wow, it's terrible. A little kid, I'm 3 years old, and 3 years old and I'm watching this. It was just too much for me. But I bared it. I bared it. My mother came in the living room and she gave us all a warning. She said, "If you ever hear crackling noise, I want you to go and get your brothers because it'll be a fire, okay?" I'm like, okay. Directly after that, we had a fire. Directly after that. I remember having to run out of the house and I had to go. This was what we had to do. My house was on fire. And I remember putting my dolls were up on the mantle. I had them there. They were there and they were safe. I really to this day don't know what happened to them. I just know that I'm outside and the fire is happening and everything we knew was blown up. Everything. My mom is standing there with my brother and I'm behind them and all I could think about was my dollies. Yeah, my little puppy got saved. Good for me. He was cute. He got saved. We went back in the house and we looked and we looked and we couldn't find my dolls. And the fireplace was not burnt. There was no damage around the fireplace. So where did my dolls go? We went back in the house and we went back in and we looked and we looked. I couldn't find them. I cried for days about my dolls. And it was one of the first things I can remember. You know, standing and looking at my house on fire. Looking at everything burn up. You know, I think the dream that I had, the plane not going down in the water, was something saying, you're going to be saved. You are not going to burn up. But I'll never forget my dolls. I'll never forget my dollies. I'll always be thinking about them. So that's how I started life. I started in a detrimental state. And I'm here to tell you of all the dreams I had after that. All the things that God gave me. I'm here to tell you. So watch more of these videos. There'll be more. And I thank you for listening to me. It's wonderful. Thank you.
But there is a God in heaven that revealeth secrets, and maketh known to the king Nebuchadnezzar what shall be in the latter days. Thy dream and the visions of thy head upon thy bed are these.
Okay, so go to my site, and it's BibleMark.com, and I'd love you to buy my book. For those that really believe in Jesus and believe that something was here before us, for those that don't know, you can read what I've seen. There's over 100 dreams in this book. And I've got many, many more books to write, because I've seen thousands of dreams. And, you know, it'll be good for you to see it. Okay, I have this necklace. 10 of these, the next 10 people that join my site, that join my website, I will give them for free this beautiful cross necklace. And you can have God with you wherever you are. Okay? Just read my notes in the thing below, in the bottom below, and you'll see the address that you can sign up for. Send me an email that'll tell me your name and address and everything, and I will send it out to you. Okay? And hopefully you'll also buy the book. All right? So God bless you, and I wish you the best. All right? I didn't have a great time, but I'm here to tell you about it. I've got to be strong enough to tell you about it, because there's lots of things coming. There's lots to come. Okay? All right. Bye-bye.